Poseidon's Trident. During the Titanomachy, the 10-year war between the Olympian gods and the Titans, Zeus freed 3 Cyclopses from Tartarus. In gratitude, these master craftsmen forged legendary weapons for Zeus and his brothers: the Thunderbolt for Zeus, a helmet of invisibility for Hades, and for Poseidon, a 3-pronged spear hammered from divine metals drawn from the Earth's depths. The Trident was imbued with dominion over water and earthquakes. When Poseidon struck the ground, springs erupted, rocks split, and the earth convulsed. When he struck the sea, waves rose at his command, storms gathered, or the waters fell still. Its 3 prongs marked his rule over the sea, the rivers, and the lakes. With these weapons, the Olympians defeated the Titans. Then the 3 brothers divided the cosmos by lot. Zeus took the sky, Hades the underworld, and Poseidon the seas and all waters. From that moment, the Trident was more than a weapon. It was the emblem of his authority as god of the sea. But not every legendary weapon was made for war. Some were created to control the world itself. Rui Jingu Bang. Legend holds that the Rui Jingu Bang began as a cosmic pillar in the age of Yu the Great, when catastrophic floods threatened to swallow the land. The staff was formed from black iron drawn from the primordial ocean depths, created as a tool meant to measure, steady, and command unruly seas and rivers. It could change its size at will, adapting to depths, currents, and impossible terrain. It first appeared as a towering black iron pillar, barrel-thick and immense in scale. 2 golden bands ringed its ends, inscribed with its name and its legendary weight, 17,557 pounds, equivalent. Yet it could also shrink to the size of a needle or expand until it seemed to brace the heavens themselves. Indestructible and absolute, it was known as the as-you-will golden-hooped rod. In later tradition, the staff is linked to Yu's flood taming works, a symbol of order imposed on chaos. When its purpose was complete, the pillar was placed within the underwater palace of the Dragon King Ao Guang, where it lay for centuries until Sun Wukong seized it in the journey to the west, claiming the weapon as his own. And in other legends, the deadliest weapons were not some tools of balance, but instruments of inevitable death. Gay Bulg. Warrior Bulg Buen forged the Gay Bulg from the bones of a monstrous sea beast slain in primordial waters. From that creature's remains, he shaped a spear meant to carry unnatural strength and inevitable ruin. In time, the weapon passed into the hands of Skathak, the warrior woman of legend, who kept it within her training fortress on the Isle of Skye. The spear bore a single barb at its tip, but once it entered flesh, that barb erupted into 30 barbs branching throughout the body. They spread through joints and organs alike, making the wound impossible to undo without cutting the victim open and tearing them apart. It wasn't thrown by hand, but launched from between the toes in a brutal kick, striking low and never missing its mark. Cuchulain became its most infamous wielder after completing Skatak's training. She entrusted him with the Gay Bulg and the secret of its technique as her final gift. He first used it in the tragic duel against his foster brother Ferdiad, sealing the spear's name in Irish legend as a sentence of certain death throughout the Ulster cycle. But some weapons weren't born from monsters or oceans, some were delivered from heaven itself. Durandal. In different traditions, Durandal is said to have been forged by Wayland the Smith and delivered to Charlemagne by an angel of God, commissioned as a defense of Christendom. The angel commanded that it be given only to a warrior worthy of its burden. Charlemagne chose his nephew Roland, the paladin destined to carry it. Durandal possessed unsurpassed sharpness, cleaving through stone, armor, and flesh alike. Its golden hilt was said to contain sacred relics of the Christian saints, holy fragments that imbued the blade with divine authority and rendered it unbreakable. It was not merely a sword, but a vessel of sanctified power. Roland wielded Durandal at the Battle of Roncesvalles Pass in 778, cutting down enemies as Charlemagne's forces escaped. When Roland lay mortally wounded, he struck the blade against marble to keep it from capture. The stone split, but Durandal did not. Its endurance sealed its legend as the ultimate emblem of Christian knighthood. And yet, the most famous swords of all were not carried by paladins, but by kings chosen by fate. You may know this one, Excalibur. Otherworldly smiths forged Excalibur in Avalon, the mystical island beyond mortal reach. In Arthurian tradition, the Lady of the Lake guarded the blade, holding it apart from the mortal world until Britain's destined king should claim it. No earthly blacksmith could have shaped such a weapon, wrought instead through supernatural craft and otherworldly metal. Excalibur shone with extraordinary brilliance, its edge unmatched. Yet its greatest power lay beside it, a magical scabbard that prevented its wearer from bleeding, no matter the wound. Together, sword and scabbard made Excalibur not only a perfect weapon of war, but a symbol of divinely sanctioned rule. Arthur received Excalibur after his earlier blade was broken. Merlin led him to a silent lake where an arm clothed in white samite rose from the waters. The lady offered the sword and scabbard, recognizing Arthur as Britain's true king. He carried Excalibur throughout his reign, defending the realm and establishing the Round Table, its origin forever binding his kingship to fate. But in the northern worlds of myth, the greatest weapons were not swords at all, but spears that governed destiny itself. Gungnir. The sons of Ivaldi forged Gungnir in the deep workshops of Svartalfheim, realm of the dwarves. From enchanted materials and divine metal, they shaped a spear unlike any other, its head carved with runes that bound its power into cosmic law. Across the 9 realms, it would stand as the ultimate emblem of divine authority. Gungnir, the swaying one in Old Norse, was fated to never miss once thrown. The runes upon its blade did more than just guide its strike, they carried the power of oaths, enforcing order among gods and mortals alike. In Odin's hand, it was both a weapon of war and an instrument of judgment. Odin claimed the spear as one of the greatest treasures ever forged. He first cast it to begin the Aesir-Vanir War, hurling it over the Vanir gods as a formal declaration of conflict. From that moment, Gungnir became inseparable from the All-Father himself, an unerring spear that embodied his rule. And yet, even Odin's spear was not the only weapon tied to fate. Another blade was brought forth to choose its own destined hero, Grom. In the age of the Volsungs, Grom entered the world as a blade bound to destiny, brought forth under Odin's divine design. Not to arm any warrior, but to mark the one chosen by fate. This sword was meant to reveal worth through an ordeal no ordinary strength could overcome. Its gold-decked edge gleamed with supernatural brightness, sharp enough to cleave through armor and stone alike. Nearly indestructible, Grom carried a name that meant wrath in Old Norse, a weapon not only of battle, but of inevitable fate. Sigmund became its first true wielder when Odin, disguised as an old man, drove the sword deep into the living tree Barnstokkr. He proclaimed that whoever could draw it free would possess the blade destined for greatness. Warrior after warrior failed, until Sigmund alone succeeded. He carried Grom through countless battles, until Odin himself shattered it, ending Sigmund's appointed time and proving that even legendary weapons answer to the very leader of the gods. But long before swords chose kings or heroes, one weapon was forged for rebellion, meant to overthrow a god: Harp. Gaia forged the harp when Uranus ruled the cosmos and oppressed his own children. The Earth Goddess shaped the weapon from adamantine, an indestructible divine metal, after Uranus imprisoned her offspring deep within Tartarus. She crafted it for her youngest son Cronus, the only titan willing to challenge the sky god's absolute power. The harp bore a curved blade with a sickle-like hook along its edge. Its shape was meant for upward strikes from below, an ambush weapon designed to cut at impossible angles without open confrontation. Even divine flesh could not withstand its edge. Cronus became its first wielder, using the harp to overthrow his father. When Uranus descended to lie with Gaia, Cronus leapt from hiding and struck, castrating the sky god with a single brutal cut. Uranus fell, his reign ended, and the cosmic order shifted from the age of Uranus to the age of the Titans. The harp became the ultimate symbol of rebellion, proof that even gods can be unmade. If you want to uncover even more mythical weapons with powers that defy reality, watch this video, Every Legendary Weapon with Impossible Powers Explained. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you there.